last guest today on Get Involved Pittsburgh is Joshua Colbert, who I truly mean this is, I think, an up-and-coming star within the speaking circuit and book circuit, and just a great guy to have on the show. So we're glad to have him here. The name of Joshua's book is Male by Birth, Man by Choice, and I definitely enjoyed reading it myself. Josh was nice enough to give me a copy a couple months ago when we got together. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So how are things going for you with the book and the speaking?
Things are going incredible. And, I keep fortunately selling out of the book.
That's good. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. Which has been quite a blessing, and just the feedback that I'm getting, from individuals, how the information is affecting their lives, whether I'm connected with them through Facebook or through email or just personally, individuals just saying, Josh, man, this book has really changed my life. I had a phone call, actually a friend of mine who I gave a book to as a counselor. He gave the book to a young man, and 2 weeks later he called him and he said, Mr. Walter, thank you so much, because this book has literally changed my life, and this is up in Philadelphia. So, just continuing to hear feedback like that really, increases me to, of course, remain humble, but at the same time keep getting out there and trying to be effective.
Right. So as an author and speaker, I know it's really important that people know kind of your background. What's your story?
My story is kind of a long one, but I'll try to make it short. Coming up, of course, broken home. I used to have extremely low self-esteem. I used to stutter tremendously and those type of things. I did. Then I went to a school called Imani Christian Academy, and the two things that it really did for me was help to rebuild my self-esteem, and at the same time get my relationship closer with God. And I think by having those two things on my side has really been able to catapult me to where I am today. And then, through networks like the Pittsburgh Leadership Foundation, which is now serving leaders, has probably been one of the most effective things regarding my business life that has really helped to shape and mold me and help me to become the man that I am. So, but it's always evolving. That's how life is, and just trying to stay focused and change lives.
Yep. That's great. Well, I know we're both happily married. You have 3 kids.
I do.
Great.
I do.
Now, are we the ideal reader of your book? Who should be reading your book? I read it. I enjoyed it, but I was like, I wish I knew this stuff when I was 15, 16, 18 years old. Yeah.
High schoolers would be the prime candidate to be able to get this information. Also, individuals who are in college, I think, is the prime target market. Just when you're going through that transition of really becoming a man. Because there's just so much information that's missing. And as researching the information that men are getting from multiple demographics, we're really finding out that a lot of men are dropping the ball in regards to being an effective man. And so there's some great foundational principles and information that men of all races, all genres, all demographics need. And I was fortunate enough to put that information in a resource. And the way that the book was inspired is because when I was in college, when my friends and I went to formal events and job interviews, they would ask me to tie their ties for them. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I was thinking to myself, that's something that the father should have showed them.
Absolutely.
But the sad truth is, now one of my friends grew up with fathers actively involved in their lives, and a few of them didn't know their fathers were at all. So I was prompted in my spirit to ask, man, what else is there that a father should instill into his child that has never been, whether it's the foundation of a wardrobe, dining, etiquette, finances, and so forth, and put it in one easy-to-read manual, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I work for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we have a lot of young men that because they have big brothers, then they learn some of the things you're talking about, like how to dress for an interview, or how to tie a tie, how to get a learner's permit for your driving. And even having grown up, my dad passed away when I was pretty young, when I was 11, 12 years old. This book, I'll tell you what, if every teenager had this book, I think they'd be doing a lot better. But let's talk about us. Let's talk about men. And we see this as well. Our number one problem as an organization is getting men to volunteer. As men, why aren't we stepping up?
Probably one of the main reasons is just selfishness. We really live in a very selfish, needy type society. Perhaps a lot of it too, and maybe it depends on the regions, is the fact that you didn't have that as an example, seeing a man being involved. And a lot of times when we're seeing different many commercials when it comes to about the importance of being mentors, a lot of men, I think, don't necessarily think they're worthy. I don't know if worthy is the right term.
Oh, we see that. Yeah.
Okay, we're worthy enough to really be a mentor, really think they can reach out and be effective in a young man's life. They think they need to be like Superman, but really, just to be a mentor, you just need to be present.
And you can go sports games together, play sports, go shopping, study together,
Exactly.
go to the library.
Exactly.
Absolutely, that's great.
So I think there's a huge misunderstanding, not only of the importance, but also in the perception of the men in particular on their view on being a mentor.
Right.
Yep.
With the generation that's coming up, a very tech-savvy generation, what are some of the main things do you think they need to watch out for and the ways that they need to grow? The young people coming up these days, what are ways that we can help them out?
Ways that we can help them out is by, making effective use of technology, but at the same time, even though technology has made us closer, in many ways it's making us more distant as well. I'm also in school for internet marketing currently, so I'm definitely abreast when it comes to the role of the internet. And one of the things that many studies are showing is that being online kind of not allow people to engage personally.
Right.
It's easy to Twitter, it's easy to talk to someone on a cell phone, but really having a face-to-face conversation is something that's becoming lacking. But so I would kind of recommend something on those lines, just to be just to be mindful.
Right. What are a few specific changes for people in our age bracket, people in their 20s, 30s? What are things that we should be doing differently to help the younger generation, but also help ourselves?
First of all, we just need to really make a conscious decision and go ahead and help in making change and know that we can really make a difference. We also need to realize that just because we're young adults doesn't mean that we're off the hook. We're in a prime position because many times if you get with someone in their 40s and their 50s, it's hard for them to engage and connect as well as a young man would for someone like us. Right. And it's really important to really instill key principles in life, the value of time, the value of mindset, the value of discipline, the value of purpose, the value of significance and those type of things. And really trying to instill those into the children at a young age is very important for future growth.
Right. For authors and speakers, it's an amazing opportunity. We get to go out there, we get to see our name in print. It's pretty neat, right? But it's also a humbling process. The whole process of writing a book, and sometimes we're lugging our books around, or driving at 4 a.m. back from a speech. The process. What inspires you? I think you really have to be inspired to have a book, to be out there speaking. What inspires you? What motivates Josh to make a difference?
Men, in particular young men, just really, just as I look back on my life and able to see what things were missing, what I'm saying, and really trying to make sure those things are present in these young men nowadays. And in many ways, I'm able to relate. And like I mentioned before, it's important to speak to young men at a level that they can relate to, and so many times when I'm speaking to them from experience. I'm speaking to them from having lack, from having low self-esteem, those type of things, to now being an overcomer, being very successful, being productive, riding on private planes across the country, those type of things. So in order for to get to say, man, I'm able to achieve that because I'm personally speaking with someone who has done that before me.
Right. I think it's really important. Kids have role models. They have people they look up to. We need to keep them away from looking up to celebrities.
Correct.
We need to make sure that they have people actually in their lives. Have you had some good role models, people that have inspired you and motivated you along your career and when you were a young man?
I did. Of course, my dad really, he spent time with me. He was one that showed me how to tie a tie and showed me how to drive and really instilled the ethics of hard work in me. Then I have a guy, I call him Pops. His name is Darnell McLaurin, but he's really, he's my spiritual father, who's really invested a lot of time in me coming up as well. And then, of course, now that I'm older, it's like you're never too old to learn, you're never too old to connect. So individuals like John Stallworth, John Henney, Roger Oxendale, Patrick Coletti, Phil Green, just a lot of individuals who have really touched my life and really getting me to the place where I need to be.
And what you mentioned too, even though we're doing all right in our careers, it's important for people of all ages, of all backgrounds, to have mentors and always to be, working with people that we can learn from. So that's great that you have, still people that you connect with, people that you're learning from on a regular basis. Yep. Well, Josh Colbert, I'll say this here today. I think you're the real deal. I think you're going to go places. I think this book is great. I think you said it's the male Bible. It can be viewed that way at
Yeah,
least.
it can be.
I think you're just going to do great with the book and with the
Thank you.
speaking, and maybe someday when you're big and famous, you'll come back to get involved in Pittsburgh and talk to us
Of
again.
course, anytime.
All right, so thanks, Josh.
Thanks for